everyone, welcome back. This is Denise, and today I thought, because I've enjoyed doing the Kandinsky inspired concentric circle paintings, the bigger ones that we did inspired by our masterclass and our little paintings, I thought maybe we would experiment and do a painting using this color palette from the Color Cube, Color Cube 488, and I've pulled out my Daniel Smith colors, and I think what I'm going to do, because this is bigger, never mind, we'll just do it big. This is a full sheet, which I don't do too many of those, but it's fun, of the Hahnemühle 9x12 watercolor paper. I gotta tell you, they're playing with the prices on this paper. I bought a bunch of pads before the prices started changing for $17. And this is my very fave paper. And we did on one of our other videos, randomly, a comparison of the two papers, kind of side by side or with a sample. I was using a Bao Hong Academy to be like, because this is my second favorite paper, but my more economically priced, and it's cotton, 100% cotton. But I discovered with this one, it does not react the same. When I had one of these down in a sample that I was comparing it to, and the colors and the water react the best on the Hahnemühle paper doing these concentric circle paintings. So now I know every time I do one of these paintings, I want this paper personally. And the only way you discover like the paper that you're gonna love is testing out lots of papers and then being like, aha, this is the one I love. So I thought I would go ahead and do concentric painting today, but I'm going to do them with the Daniel Smith colors, which we don't normally get these out anymore just because I'm so obsessed with the Masha's colors, but thought it might be fun to see how these react. So this is Color Cube Volume 2 by Sarah Renee Clark that I got this color palette out of. Color palette 488. I was thinking blues. So I got out Payne's Gray. Just going to set these on my piece here, and I got out Lunar Blue and Sleeping Beauty and Van Dyke Brown and Buff Titanium. And this is my Artist Toolkit palette that I put my tube watercolors into a palette. So I'm basically working with this color, this color, this color, this color, and this color. So that's those colors that I've kind of matched up to our palette. And this is super handy. This fits quite a bit of color in it, and then when I get down low on the color like I am with the Sleeping Beauty, I can just pull my tubes out and top them off. And these are small enough that you can carry them with you. And I separated the Daniel Smith into 3 of them, and I got one with metallics, and then I've got one with the reds and the pinks in there. And so they live on the shelf right in front of me. They're super convenient without having to pull the tubes out and it being a big deal. So those Artist Toolkit palettes, I actually really like those. Alright, and so, I mean, we could do a little, you know what, now that I'm thinking, because I was thinking this is too much. Let's just do a double painting today. Let's do a double. And I don't usually show the taping, I just tape it off, but enough people are like, show the taping. So I'm like, okay, I'm not exact at all, just kind of like guesstimating about where I want things to start and end. So if you need that to be more exact, you go for it, because some people you'll want it to be straight, and I want it to be straight, but I don't want to make a big deal out of it. So straight enough is good enough. There we go. And I like this paper because it reacts well to my doesn't tear. That's why I like this paper. So let's just activate those. I've got my Princeton Neptune 1/2" oval wash, and I like this one because I'm gonna go ahead and do a Kandinsky concentric circle inspired painting, and then what if we do a stripey over here, like a wonky stripey? Let's just test it out and see what we can get. So that's the darker, and it's going to be very interesting to see how are these going to react and just look compared to the Masha's colors that I'm obsessed with. And so no rhyme or reason or exact here, just kind of some play and experimenting. But I am going to wonky it up because I like wonky. Okay, and it's and I might even should have gotten out the tube colors because it's even a tiny bit harder to pick up as much pigment as I pick up with the Mashas. The Mashas are just super pigmented, and I love that about them. And then we'll mark make in between all the lovely layers. So those two blues that I picked out, super similar. Maybe in a good way, maybe not, I don't know, maybe they're too close. I might should have picked another color out of there. I'm trying to work a little bit faster. I want the colors to do what they do. Mesh and blend and flow and just do some funky stuff. Play that funky music, baby. That's what that just reminded me of. You know, if I don't have the camera on, then I really get into listening to audiobooks and music. I would definitely have something going. Okay, I'm loving the brown and the lovely Sleeping Beauty. Did not mean to put that right where I did. Oh well. We're just gonna keep a going. And you might even, if you're having trouble getting like the wonkiness, you might even like slightly shake your hand a little bit to help out with the brush doing some unexpected fun stuff, like on purpose. Like I want it to be lovely and wonky and do some tricks. I need some tricks, and the Daniel Smith might be doing tricks, but I'm so obsessed with my Mashas that we just don't get it out very often. I can't even remember actually the last time I've had the Daniel Smith out. And it's like the creme de la creme. It's the one that people love. It's the one that people aspire to get. But for me, the Mashas are the ones. It's the one that's the most amazing watercolor that I've ever played with. I love them. Just gotta spread some other color in here, because why not? Okay, I really like what this one's doing. I'm gonna drop a little more color in here. And then we'll let this kind of dry and do its thing. Okay. Alright, let me let this dry and then we'll come back and mark make. Alright, these are definitely lighter in tone than my others, and it could just be the amount of pigment I was picking up, but they are a little less vivid maybe. This is my Neocolor II crayons, but I'm going to go ahead and do some extra maybe mark making in here because I like it. Just something fun, just a little extra interest in there. And I kind of like them when they're tone on tone. That's kind of fun. Now I'm kind of thinking it's time to just get out all our favorites and do some mark making. So I do love my Blackwing matte pencil. Let's not sharpen it over our art. I'm terrible about doing that. Making a big mess. And I'm going to go ahead and add my marks in here so I could definitely really get a feel for how I like these versus my others. With the different paint. You know, I started a conversation on the paper that I'd gotten a bunch of pads when they were $17, and then the pads of paper all of a sudden started going up, and they were $25, and then $27, and then $28, and then they were $31. And I'm like, this is almost double the price for a pad of 12 sheets of paper. And I was getting very upset with that because I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I looked again, and the price was back to $21. And I'm like, okay, now they're just playing games with this. And I'm filming this video before the tariffs officially take place on August 29th, so who knows when you'll actually see the video, because I get them way out in line and then I shuffle things around depending on what I've already posted and what I kind of want to be next in line. So you may see this in the fall, who knows. But I'm kind of interested in how all the art supplies are going to, you know, go up, because all my favorite stuff comes out of Europe, or some stuff comes out of China, but they're not my favorites usually. And then let's do this over here. Germany, a lot of those. Japan, that's where a lot of my favorite things come out of. And I'm kind of wondering, are the prices going to double and triple, or are they going to play games with it like they're playing games with this paper? Couldn't believe that. And that was within a 2-week time span right before these tariffs officially take place. And so I'm kind of just going to stalk the paper price there on the Amazon link, because it's just kind of interesting to see what the prices are going to be doing. And it's kind of lucky that I'm already a tiny bit of an art supply hoarder. If you couldn't tell by my studio tours, which are out there on my channel under the studio stuff playlist. So I feel like even if the prices rise, I got enough art supplies to go for years, and it's not gonna really affect me being able to show up and experiment and play for years. But still, okay, I really like those filled in there. It's still just kind of annoying. Prices move. Oh, let's do this one right here. Let's do this one. Posca. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all the pricing shapes out. So when you see me using this lovely paper that's my very fave, just know that I stocked up before the prices started doing crazy things. Because I like to see when things go on sale, then I'll buy a few every time they go on sale and just kind of stock up. So I'm using my paper stash, and if you haven't seen, like in the studio tours, some other paper stashes that I've had in the past, I'm ridiculous. But now I'm kind of glad, because I must have just intuitively known that these games were coming. And now I'm glad that I am a tiny bit of an art supply hoarder. Because there's not too much out there that I don't already have. I'm kind of glad about that. So unless something comes out that's just so amazing that it blows my mind, I'll just keep pulling out of my stashes of things that I have forgotten I even had. Ooh, that looks so good. I love that. Let's just do it down here and do a color on color. And just know that, like, besides my monthly art haul of my sketch box and my stencil girl, that a lot of the things that I pull out, I've just already got. Use what you have. Experiment. Play. Things like this really help you learn your supplies, end up with something delightful, and then when you get onto a project that you're really serious about, or you've got specific ideas in your mind, then you already know what it is that you're wanting to use and how they work. Because if you're saving stuff because it's precious, little projects like this make it worth it to experiment with them. I like doing 2 at a time like this, so if you end up with one you don't like, chances are the other one you will like, so you've got, you know, a 50-50 chance there to have a great paint day. Or even if you don't love it, remember you can cut things up into little hearts. It's my favorite little jar that sits up here. Here's the last little hearts that we cut up, and you can put little prompts on the back for little art prompts. And then these, no matter what that piece of art looked like, every one of these look fantastic. This is a 2-inch heart punch that I use with those. All of those look amazing. This looks amazing. And the original did not. So that's a little bit of how you can get some joy out of an art day that didn't work out the way you wanted, but still could give you something lovely out of it. So I don't even let the bad art days bother me now, because I can cut them up into stripes or hearts or whatever and create something that is really cool. Look how fun that is. Okay, I like that. I'm feeling gold. In which this is actually, you know what we could do? Okay, I could do the silver. This is the Kuretake silver, which looks exactly like the gold in one of these. I've stashed it somewhere. It's probably in the closet in a box. It's exactly one of these, but in silver. Kuretake silver. And I didn't like the silver. I thought, oh, it's kind of washed out. It's not really shiny. But you know what? I don't know what I was thinking. It must not have been my silver phase, because it actually is shiny and lovely. And we're going to use it today, because I like a little bit of sparkle. So let's just test it and kind of get it. And in the light, it does shine really lovely. Okay, so now I feel like we're gonna go right here. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, definitely need that with the sound effects. See, now I'm tickling myself. This is what makes painting so fun, is if you can have a little bit of fun when you're going. And I have enough people that are like, oh, you talk too much. I'm like, I don't care, move on. I'm sitting here painting by myself in my art room. Gotta have a little bit of fun. And I like when y'all chat back with me in the comments. I know my people are out there. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Just don't worry about it. I move on. If they make a rude comment, they don't get a second chance. You better make it good if you're going to be rude, because I'm just going to block you and never think of you again. And then I'm going to laugh at you and think, I feel sorry for you that you got to come out here and just be a turd to somebody giving you lovely free art comments. Lovely free art content. People are crazy. You just can't let them bother you. I think it helps that I was a manager with Home Depot years ago, and I've been screamed at every way you can be screamed at, and now I just don't accept it. I don't accept your rudeness. I don't accept your meanness. I don't accept you coming on a free platform where people just give you lovely free comments and you be ugly to them. I just block you and never think of you again. You're not worth our time or effort. Oh, I love this. I just saw that interview with Taylor Swift that she did on that Travis Kelce podcast. Man, she is so lovely. She had such good wisdom on there about your time and energy being, you need to think of it as being expensive. And I'm sure I'm paraphrasing it wrong, but you need to think of it as being expensive, and not everybody is earned the right to your attention, and not everything written out there is even worth your time, effort, or your business. You just have to ignore it, basically. And I thought, what a lovely way to think about that too. Your energy is expensive, so don't waste it on things that aren't worth it. I'm going to go back and watch that interview again. I mean, that was so interesting, listening to her and watching them interact, that it's worth watching again just for the lovely nuggets of advice that she puts out there. I love them. They're awesome. I'm glad they found each other. Okay, this is lovely. I like the silver. Good choice with the silver. good choice. I'm going to dry the silver real quick before I decide if I want to do anything else. So I'll be right back. Alright, I almost feel like now that we've got this nice and dry, I feel like I'm missing some darkness. So what are we missing? What darkness do we want? Do we want a little bit of black Posca pen dots? Do I want... I feel like I just need something not overwhelming. I don't want it to be like so dark that then you're like, ooh, totally messed that up. But I feel like I need something. So do I need a little tiny bit of some black dots? Do we need maybe some bigger dots? Do we need maybe some temper stick? I almost feel like this is overkill. But I could make like some big, let's just get our tiny, this is why I save all my little samples, because maybe I need to draw some stuff. Like, do we want some bigger, bolder dots out there? I feel like this might be just too much though. Not feeling that. Could do, I got the little black Artx. Ooh, we could do like some mark making like that. What do you think about that? Okay, I'm kind of feeling that. Because we got the little tiny black marks, but alright, let's just do it. Okay, okay, I'm scared. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do it! Oh! Just feel like it was missing contrast. And it all kind of sank back like a watercolor would normally do, even though I don't use watercolor in a traditional way. My Masha's watercolors are so vivid and they granulate and they do tricks. Okay, that was a good choice. Okay, whoa, let's take a deep breath. Oh, we did it. And maybe I'll put a few down here because it's a stripey. It's a stripey piece. So let's just put some more in the stripes. Yeah, it's so, the Mashas are so vivid that people have to ask, is that watercolor? You know, when they're looking at a finished painting and maybe they don't know what favorite paints that I use. So when I go back to like a regular watercolor that acts more like a watercolor normally would. Okay, that was a good choice. I like it. I like it. Let's put a few of these up here. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, when I go back to a regular watercolor, I have to readjust my expectations because I shouldn't expect it to be as vivid as the others. I don't know how she makes those, but man, they are insane. They're so lovely and vivid, and they just really rock my watercolor world. Okay, I like that. That's what I wanted. I needed that extra oop oop or oop. That made me feel better. And the Kuretake, you know, Gansai Tambi paints also are different. They act more like a gouache, which is another super fave of mine, even though they haven't been out in a while because I'm so obsessed with the larger Masha set that we'll get back to them. I just kind of go wherever the inspiration leads me, and that's what's fun about experimenting and playing with the different supplies, is figuring out what you got and how they work and what's your favorite and what inspires you now. And you just kind of see whatever happens to be inspiring me in the moment when I sit to make videos and show up. Alright, so that didn't quite match up, did it? I kind of went spirally. So let's just keep on doing a little spirally. How about we do that now that we spiraled that accidentally? That's what's fun about doing stuff like this too, the creative problem solving, because now you kind of get into a mode of, oh, what else could I do to change or fix or go in a different direction than I intended when I didn't do something I thought I didn't line that up well. So how can we fix it? And I'm good at creative problem solving a lot of times. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does. And you learn something new, and maybe you get a new technique that you love. or you know what not to do next time. It's all about figuring these things out. Okay, look at that. That was kind of fun that we kind of did that. I'll come back in and add a few more to circle in on that. How about that? I like it. I like it. Good job. I know I'm crazy. But you love it. I wish I had like a little art store with a little art room with tables set up and we could all come together and we could have like little art dates. That would be fun. I used to be on the Meetup app years ago, and that's how I found all the photography clubs in the city. And I would go to photography meetups, and some of them were meetings where you looked at new art and judged it and that kind of thing, and some of them were meetups in the city where you just spent the day shooting photography with people walking around the city and then stopping for lunch. Man, those were the best days. And there's no good art meetups like that. I mean, there's the ones where you maybe have like an hour of paint and sip or whatever it is, where they have one particular little painting that everybody's painting, but that's not the same as like really having a good little meetup to paint things that are a little more advanced than maybe those paint and sip kind of things. But I've looked every once in a while for an exceptional art kind of meetup, but I've not really come across any that look like I want to leave my house and go to it. Okay, look at that. This is turning out super fun. I feel like I'm going to get that matte pencil out and maybe get a few graphite circles, and then I think I could be there. Ooh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, I need a few over here now that we did that. Ooh, yeah. Okay, good paint day, good paint day. Okay, I love it. Not at all like the Masha's colors, but it's interesting in its own way and its own things that it brought to the table. Ooh, some fun. I have some fun painting these. Okay, so I might have left I should have made that smaller around this side, because I'm going to cut this in half and this side won't match up, so we'll have to cut all four sides so that what we have left is actually equal. I started out thinking one thing and ended up doing a different thing than what I had intended. So we're going to trim these down. Look how beautiful these are. Oh, it's a good paint day. These would be pretty as the front of like a notebook or something. Alright, we're just going to kind of, let's see here. Oh, I should have cut the edges off of the, should have cut the whole thing first and then cut it in half. I get distracted. You people distract me in the best way possible, but I didn't quite mean to have to do extra cuts. As I was getting it out, I was thinking in my mind, let's do it this way. And then when I actually got to cutting, we did a little different. Look how pretty that is. Oh, we could have deckled the edge too. These could have been really pretty with deckled edges, but that's okay. So we'll cut this one tighter. No reason why. Just happened to come to me as I'm cutting. And I'm just vaguely lining it up here with this little edge on this side. I'm not getting exact. Ooh, look how good that looks. Whew, these are so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, those are super fun. I think I'm gonna cut this one a little bit tighter, but man, look how that silver shines in there. That's exactly what I wanted, that tiny bit of shine. I love that. Super fun. I love that too. Alright, that was a fun experiment with the Daniel Smith and the differences that we get compared to what I do there with the Masha's colors. Hope you had fun painting with me today, and I'll see you guys next time.